Boom. Okay, so if we look at this right here, when it comes to poise breakpoint, Muda, thank you so much for the gift subs again. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much. Today you guys are absolutely crazy with all the donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alright, let's go to the poise sheet. So what I wanted to say, when you go for a poise breakpoint, there's a minimum that you should have, and then there's a maximum where it's not really worth it after a certain point. But everything in between can be valuable depending on the matchup. How usually I go about picking my poise, and I think most people should go by that too. Either you optimize for one setup, or either you optimize for fashion. So for instance, if you like one particular piece of armor, you put on the Bolgo Talisman. It gives you like close to a certain amount of poise. You adjust the rest of your armor and the rest of your build to build around that specific number. So obviously it changes with every patch, but I think the minimum that's useful is one-handed rapier. So if you're light rolling, it's always a good idea to have like above, like to have 45. So obviously light rolling needs fixing, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. But if you have like very low amount and you have to aim for a low breakpoint, I think an important one is 45. Now the second one would probably be the two-hand. So two-handed R1 for rapier being 58. So those would be like the low breakpoint. Now when it comes to important breakpoint, if you're serious about PvP, I don't think you would want to go lower than 69. So 69 poise should be really realistically, if you're trying hard, the lowest you should go for. Also, Kazimix, thanks for the bits again. So 69 is what you should go for. Now, if you still have like spare points to put into that, like look at what are the higher breakpoints. So you got 75 here for two-handed curved swords, two-handed katanas, two-handed spears and whatnot. That's also an important one. Another notable one that's close to two-handed R1 for heavy thrusting sword. That's something you still see commonly. Two-handed R1 at 83 makes a lot of sense. Although, when you look above 83, let's try to find something above 83, under 100. So you see power stance L1 for flail at 98, not really worth it. If we look at claws, two-handed R1, 81, or what about the L1? For the power stance L1, 81. So 81 kind of important against fist weapons now. But if we look at like something that's like lower than 100, between like 83 and 100, there's not much. Like two-handed R2 for daggers, that's not worth it. Let's take a look at the rest here. Two-handed jump R1 for claws, not really worth it either. Okay, two-handed R2 for rapier. You could go, I guess, for 97, but to be honest, 97 is so close to 101 where you can poise Flame Strike and Storm Stomp. I don't even think that's worth it either because that's too close to 101. So where I'm going with this, either you go 101 and you tank Flame Strike and you tank Storm Stomp, or you go to the next lowest one, 83, where you can tank HTS, and 83 is close to the 81 for the fist. And then that includes the 75 for two-handed mid-weapons. And then you're still above 69, which would be the minimum for tryharding. So all in all, this is pretty much what I wanted to go over. 83 is the balanced one. 83 is basically our kind of our 88 that we had. 69 was a little bit like the 81 from before. But it's really up to what your character wants to do and what kind of fashion you want to have. Because if you can't like get to 69 with your fashion and with your build, aim for the next lowest important ones, which are two-handed R1, 58, and one-handed R1 for rapier, 45. You basically want the poise for the most, like to tank the most dangerous stuff. That's what you should be building around. So here you go.